guys, my name's Sam. This is the Potager podcast, and I'm coming to you from pretty overcast Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is where I live. If you want to find me around the internet, I am on Instagram at Potager and on Ravelry at More. Both of those links will be down in the description, as well as anything else that I decide to share today. So I did want to start off this episode with addressing what's been going on. I've been sharing a lot of stuff over on Instagram about the Black Lives Matter movement, but I know that not everybody that watches my podcast follows me over there. So I just wanted to make sure that my stance is clear, that I am completely in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. I have been spending a lot of time personally educating myself and also educating other people, sharing information that I find, because it's important that we do the work and we continuously do the work, because we live in a very broken system, and it is our responsibility to create change. So, yeah, I'm going to continue to share resources. I'm going to continue to educate myself. And that's going to be continuous work. I've said continue too many times now, but I think you understand what I mean. I also had shared a couple links to GoFundMes over on the gardening vlog that I posted earlier this week. I'm going to share them down here as well, because they're farming, like Black female farmer related, and I think it's important to support Black female farmers in agriculture. So yeah, I'm going to share those down below. Please support them. I am supporting them as well. So there's that. Yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, I've just been having a shitty time just with like some family stuff going on and work being stressful. So I am really ready for the weekend. This isn't beer, by the way, because it would look ridiculous. It's very obviously like earlier in the day. It's sarsaparilla. If you've never had sarsaparilla before, it's like a type of root beer. Super good. It's like my favorite. Delicious. All right, let's talk about FOs. This hat is ridiculous. Look at it. But I needed a hat today. Alright, so my first FO is my Hermione's Everyday Socks. I made this pattern. I've knit this pattern before. Unfortunately, I did pick a yarn that was not conducive to the longevity of my socks. There wasn't any nylon in it, so it really wasn't durable, and it actually felted. So that was my bad. I really should have known better. But I've learned a lot about yarn choice. You know, I've been knitting for years now, but it's not like when I was a kid I was really caring about yarn choice. I was just buying whatever cheap acrylic I could get my hands on. But in the past, like, year and a half, I guess it is now, of me, like, really super getting back into knitting as an adult who can actually afford my own yarn. Yeah, I've learned a lot about yarn choice and what is good and not good for different types of projects. And I'm still learning. Yeah, so this yarn was one of my special skeins because it was probably one of the first indie dyed yarns that I consciously purchased. This is from Sheep's Clothing Yarn Co., which is coincidentally from Philadelphia, so home state. Yeah, I don't know. It's space. I really like that it's like a dark plum color base instead of like a navy or a black that you see a lot in like space themed yarn. Because I really love dark purples. I love purples in general. I really love the color purple. Anyway, yeah, I don't really have much to say about the pattern because I feel like everybody knows about this sock pattern at this point. It's just kind of a good, not vanilla, but still like not super complicated sock pattern to follow. So I've been trying to knit some more texture pattern socks instead of just vanilla socks because I was doing so many like self-striping yarns and stuff. I just kind of like wanted to mix it up a little bit. So there are those. I finished those. They're lovely. They're very soft. And they have nylon in them, so I don't have to worry about them felting. They are more conducive to socks. Next are these. These are my Afterthought Everything socks. I called them the Afterthought Boot Camp socks on Ravelry because that's basically what it was for me, was learning how to do all of the aspects of Afterthought socks. So I followed the tutorial from Pip and Pin called Afterthought Everythings. This is Knit Picks Stroll. Is that the sock one? It's the stripey kind of Knit Picks sock yarn. I got this in a D-stash. Yeah, I'm glad that I did too, because part of the reason why I was having such a hard time with doing the Afterthought stuff was the concept of cutting into yarn in a project that I was like in love with. So I was like, you know what? This is just like stripey yarn that I got for the sake of stripey yarn in a D-stash. It's not like some sort of special yarn that I'm saving for a special project like that one. So, you know, just use it for this. Also, I blocked these. Another pair of blocked socks. No way. Yeah, so I knit a tube of the striping yarn. Honestly, the hardest part for me was trying to get the placement of the heels and everything so that they, like, looked pretty similar. Making sure that was difficult. And really, honestly, I don't know that this is really going to be a technique that I use that much. I'm glad that I learned it. I'm glad that I, you know, tackled my fear of cutting into my knitting. My wife keeps joking with me that, like, well, you haven't tried steeking yet, because I've complained so much about how much I don't like cutting into my yarn that she knows all of these knitting techniques that I don't want to do. So we'll see. Maybe one day I'll do steeking now that I've, you know, tried one. But anyway, the reason why I don't think that I'm really going to do a whole lot of Afterthought socks, at least complete Afterthought socks, is because of the cast off. I am completely a proponent of cuff down socks, and the reason being I do not like how cast offs look on ribbing. I just never have. So, you know, I forget which cast off I used on this. It might have been Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. I honestly don't remember, but it's just not quite the same as a cast on edge with ribbing. So I don't know, there's probably ways to get around that, but it's just not my favorite. It's stressful. It involves a lot more thinking. I'd rather just make a sock, you know? So that's my stance on Afterthought socks. I've made these. I still probably will make the sprocket socks, which was the whole reason why I did this, so that I could tackle my fear and possibly do sprocket socks. Still pretty connected to that idea, so yeah. But other than that, I'm probably going to stick to the techniques that I already like to do with sock knitting. So, but anyway, Afterthought everything's. There's my rant about Afterthought socks. Oh, so good. My next FO is my Baktus scarf. Shawl. So this, I was using up yarn from, I had some from Christmas presents and Christmas yarn swaps, and they were just two of those yarns that I've had in my stash that I just didn't know what to pair with them. So the blue variegated yarn, which you can see a lot here, which I'll talk about in a minute, is Piratenwolle, which I got from a Christmas swap, and then the brown stripe is alpaca that is local, that my stepmom and my dad got me for Christmas a couple years ago. But it was a pretty small quantity, so that's why I was having a hard time figuring out what I wanted to do with it. This is also alpaca. I really like alpaca yarn, and there's a lot of alpaca farms in my area. Anyway, so yeah, I came upon the Baktus scarf when I was looking for something quick. I mean, I've known about this for years. I wanted to knit it a long time ago, and then I didn't because the idea of weighing yarn just did not vibe with me. I forgot to weigh my yarn before I started it, which is why I have this blue triangle, because I just finished it off in the blue. It's honestly not a big deal because, you know, I'm going to be wearing it like this. So you're not really going to see it that much. It's not that big a deal. But, yeah, I was looking for a project because we went on a day trip to go hike up at Ricketts Glen. So I wanted something to knit in the car, and honestly, I didn't knit that much in the car because I was just, like, you know, enjoying my wife's company, so I'd only made, like, that much progress on it. But then this turned into a good, just, like, TV watching project because it only has one increase every 4 rows, and the rest of it's just knitting. So I got through a lot of it. So yeah, I had weighed and kind of guesstimated where I thought the center point of the alpaca ball would be, and I was wrong. So I have this little thing, but like I said, it doesn't bother me. It'll be fine. And it's just like a good basic shawl. So yeah, I'm excited to wear that. It is a little itchy. That was the other reason why I was having a hard time with the Piratenwolle. It's a little bit of a scratchier wool. But I think with the alpaca, that kind of softens it up a little bit, so it'll be fine. But yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice to fold too. This will be going on my little shawl wall in my closet that I created. So I have two other FOs, and they are both spinning. I honestly haven't been spinning as much. I've just been spinning in spurts. My crafting mojo has come and gone, which I'll talk about a little bit more later, but yeah, it's been coming in spurts. So I've been spinning a lot. Like I spun this yarn in like 2 days. Actually, both of these I spun in like 2 days. And then just haven't been spinning since. I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, so part of that was because I'm planning on doing Tour de Fleece this year. That starts next week, I believe. Like next weekend. So I kind of was like, all right, I'm going to give myself a break from spinning, and then I will be doing a ton of spinning during Tour de Fleece. I also hilariously realized that my vacation is over Tour de Fleece, so I will be probably taking my drop spindle with me, which my wife pointed out the children are probably going to be fascinated by watching me spin, but I did commit that I wanted to spin 15 minutes a day. I think I can still squeeze that in during vacations easily. Like, I'm usually one of those early risers and I'm ready to go before everyone else, so I can get ready and go sit down and watch children's shows and do my 15 minutes of spinning before we go to the beach. Anywho, lovely. So the first one that I finished is this really, really beautiful skein. It is a chain ply. I, of course, didn't tuck in the ends because I'm garbage. Yeah, it's a chain ply. This is from fiber from Witchcraftylady. It was a gift. Gifted to me. I have another braid of her fiber, and it's like a greenish yellow. It's really pretty, like chartreuse almost, if I remember correctly. It's in my basket. Probably won't be able to find it. Yeah, speaking of Tour de Fleece, this is my basket full of fiber that I plan on spinning, you know, in the near future. I've been kind of collecting fiber. This is the other fiber that I have. I don't know. It looks more yellowy in this light, but in some lights it looks more greeny, and it's definitely like a darker base fiber, if that makes sense. Yeah, I have lots of bright colors, rainbows. This one I showed before. Got these. So I wanted to have lots of very colorful options for Tour de Fleece because that's really what's going to keep me motivated to spin. Anyway, Witchcraftylady. This fiber was a dream to spin. It really honestly was so smooth. It had a nice long staple length. It was easy to spin. So I spun it up on my electric eel wheel nano, and then I chain plied it on my really big drop spindle that I have. That's kind of been my flow. I don't know. It's worked really well for me, and I think I'm going to continue doing that because I think the product is really nice. So I guess that's true. I could maybe spin a bunch of singles before I go on vacation and maybe chain ply them while I'm on vacation instead of straight spinning. We'll see what I decide to do. I haven't quite, you know. That's still a while off. But yeah, really gorgeous. Would highly recommend. She has really, really gorgeous fiber. And she has lots of variegated fiber as well, like very colorful braids that she dyes. But these solids are really gorgeous. Just such a beautiful depth of color, and I absolutely adore this. And I can't wait to figure out what to do with all this hand spun. So then the next one that I got, it was one of those things that I got in the mail and immediately had to spin. So this is I think it's called the I Can Spin a Rainbow kit. by Smith Studio Designs. So basically you get all the colors of the rainbow in individual little bumps, bats, I still don't know the right terminology, and then also a big floof of gray. And she had some good suggestions on different things to do, but I knew that I wanted to do a 2-ply. I don't really do a lot of 2-ply, but I figured this was ideal for a 2-ply for me. So I took the colorful bumps and I split them into 3 pieces, and I spun a rainbow. And then I spun the gray separately and then plied them together. And I actually did that all on my eel wheel nano. It was nice to get to like practice plying on the eel wheel because I haven't really done a lot of that. But yeah, I think this turned out really gorgeous. It was super fun to spin. Yeah, so more fun hand spun. I actually really want to go through all of this hand spun that I've done in like the past year, and properly like label it and upload it to Ravelry, like nice photographs of everything, upload it to Ravelry so that I can have a nice like record of all my fiber, because I'm afraid that especially going into Tour de Fleece, if I don't do this now, I'm just not going to do it because I'm going to get overwhelmed by the amount of fiber that I have spun. So I really want to get it all out there. Just like I put projects on Ravelry of all my knitting, I want to do the same for all my fiber. So that's a project for another day though. So that's all my FOs. Let us talk about some whips. I'm gonna have another sarsaparilla sip. Oh no. Delicious. So my first whip in my big shark bag is the Northeasterly blanket that I've been working on since my birthday. If you're new here, I started this blanket on December 11th of last year as a little like project of the year. I had no idea what kind of year it was going to be at that time. I'm still not 100% positive that I'm going to be able to finish this in 1 year, because I did lag behind a little bit for a while. I just did not have any motivation, and then COVID hit and I was like, wow, knitting a blanket sounds great right now actually. So here it is in all its glory. So the last place we left off was here. This was leftover yarn from the socks, the Afterthought socks, and I finished that whole strip. Used some more leftover sock yarn, that kind of stuff. This was from the heels and toes of that. And then all the way down here, this is so weird to show off now. I started off the next one. So you can see I used some of that space yarn down here, and then this here is what was left over from when I was doing my I Can Spin a Rainbow. I hit just the end of the green there and ran out of gray, so I figured I would just take that 1-ply and add it into my Northeasterly blanket. So yeah, it is, I knit my wingspan, like I knit the first strip to my wingspan, and then I believe in the instructions to make a throw blanket, which should be about 60 inches, I believe, she had put like 20 columns. So I'm only at 4.5, which is why I'm saying even if I like turbo knit this, I'm probably not going to finish it by my birthday this year. It's not going to be a 1-year project, but that's okay. It's been a good thing to just like pick up when I need a little bit of break. Like I can pretty mindlessly knit it at this point. It's just kind of like autopilot knitting while I'm watching TV. And I keep a bunch of different yarn balls in here with it, so that I have options. I was like trying to do color management when I first started it, like, oh, I want to put this next to this. And then I just kind of gave up, and honestly, I like it better that way. I like that it's even more chaotic. My only like rule now that I've been following is I'm obviously like I have more yarn in each little ball than is going to be in my stripes because I'm keeping them rather small now. So I'm just not putting that same color in the next stripe over. I'm skipping a stripe, if that makes sense. I was like explaining that to my wife last night and she was laughing. Like, okay, Sam, I'm glad that you have come up with some rules for your blanket knitting. But yeah, I would highly recommend this if you have a lot of sock scraps and you don't want to just do a granny stripe blanket. It's like just interesting enough that it's not completely boring stockinette, but like it's not complicated enough that you can't just like have a conversation with someone or like watch TV show or a movie while you're working on it. So yeah, really glad that that's what I decided to do with that. Next up, for a second I thought I forgot to bring it over. My Baah Pillow. I honestly haven't worked on this that much because I haven't really felt like crocheting, and also, did you know that crocheting baubles can get tedious? It gets, I don't know, it's a lot. It doesn't, you don't get enough progress with it, and I think that's why I'm having trouble, is like, baubles, it's like 5 stitches together, so progress is slow, and yeah, I do want to finish this eventually. I'm glad I decided to do a rather small pillow, but I think it's going to be really cute when I finish it, because I'm going to just set it on this chair by my little knitting thing. But yeah, that's Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool, and then this is leftover Blue Sky fibers from like my hat projects and stuff from last year. I thought the gray and the cream would look cute together, so yeah, maybe I'll work on that today, because it is like, once you kind of get in the swing of it, it's another one that's a little bit more rhythmic that you don't have to pay that much attention to, so that's good. My next project is my next sock project. So after those 2 pairs of socks, I'm at 5 pairs of socks for the year. And my general rule has been to keep a pair of socks on the needles at all times, just because it's, I don't know, it makes sense. Because it's something like a little more fiddly. So on the vein of like trying to not just knit vanilla socks all the time, I need to do something about this hat. Driving me nuts. Yeah, on the vein of trying to not just be knitting vanilla socks all the time, I found this pattern. It has been in my Ravelry library for a while, actually. And it's called Sixpence, and it's this nice texture pattern. I also have this cute little cherry stitch marker from Handstitched Life. I will talk about that a little bit later. What else was I going to say about this? I don't know. It's a pretty easy pattern to follow. I have been enjoying knitting them. It's very easy to follow. This is cuff down, and it has a short row heel, which I like short row heels. They fit me really well, and it also means that you don't have to worry about heel flap and gusset. Yeah, and the yarn is Into the World Pikoku sock. What's the colorway? I've forgotten. Ramble. Really like it because it's like a variated like orangey, pink, maroon mix, and I think it looks really cool with this stitch pattern. It really makes it pop. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying working on this. It's going pretty quickly because it's just knit pearls, you know. Highly recommend. Yeah, I got this yarn for the last year's Christmas yarn swap, so once again, just like using the yarn in my stash instead of staring at it and going, wow, that's beautiful. I've been having trouble with a few of these though, where I'm like, I'm gonna finally knit that pattern, and then I don't. I'll do it eventually. Yeah, so that's the sock that I have on the needle. I was thinking, so like I was saying about vacation, I need to have a project to take with me, and last year I took my citron shawl, which I don't know if you remember that, but I did not make any progress when I was on vacation. So instead I am going to probably take vanilla socks along. I'm going to take some self-striping yarn, some vanilla socks, probably 1 at a time instead of 2 at a time, so that I don't have to worry about like getting tangled up, because I'm not a big sit on the beach kind of person. So I'm gonna need like activities. I'm gonna take some books and stuff with me. You know, I don't know where to put this. So here's another project that I started that I didn't really intend on starting, right now at least. I started a sweater. So if you'll remember, I was working on my nether garments, and I had all of this purple yarn left over that I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with. It's this really cool, like, heathered and tweedy acrylic yarn that I got pretty inexpensively. Totally overbought it because I did not know how much yarn I would need to cover my whole butt, which is fine. But then I was also in this situation where I was like, how many things do I really feasibly want to knit out of this lavender yarn? So I guesstimated how much yardage I had and realized I had enough probably to make a nurtured sweater. So that's what I decided to do. I like Andrea Mallory's patterns. The sweater patterns are really easy to follow. And this has a pretty nice, like, I think she called it honeycomb. I guess it is honeycomb. It's like a honeycomb stitch pattern throughout the sweater. It's cropped. I'm going to try to make it a little bit longer. My wife was joking then that I could probably just wear my nether garments with my sweater and have a nice little matching sweatsuit. Oh, gee, thanks. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that, you know, I would wear this. This is a pretty wearable sweater without just being like another basic sweater like the what's it called? The Weekender? Because I knit that yellow Weekender. So I don't have a light purple sweater, and I really like this yarn and I wanted to use it up, so I have it all in my big old bag, and I'm gonna be knitting up this nurtured sweater. I think it is gonna work up pretty fast. I just haven't been working on it a lot. Oh, and here's another Handstitched Life stitch marker. I will be talking about those later. So yeah, this is definitely not a travel project, but I'm gonna knit a sweater over the summer, guys. Not that I have anywhere to wear it. Gotta put that under there. I've been doing some non-knitting crafts as well. Crafts. I did some more spinning. This one is from Malia Mayed It. I only did one chunk of this fiber. Here's the rest of it. It's this really pretty, like, pastel rainbow. She was de-stashing it. Here's her thing. I've bought stuff from her before. Yeah, I don't know. It's fluffy, rainbowy. I wanted to spin the other day, so I just, like, quick picked that up. So I'll probably try to finish this before Tour de Fleece, but that's probably the extent of the spinning that I'll finish before next week. But I have a whole weekend of nothing to fill with craft times, you know? Another thing, which I'm not going to show today, but I will show it hopefully next time when I will hopefully have it done. That dollhouse that I showed, like the little miniature bookstore that was like called Sam's Study, I have pretty much all the pieces made. I made an entire tiny chandelier, like, that involved wiring, which was very frustrating. But I made that, and I have it attached, and it's good. But yeah, it was fiddly. So it's been slow going because I really need to take long breaks from it. But yeah. And then my last whip is embroidery. So I've been trying to get more into embroidery and sewing and cross-stitch type stuff because I do really enjoy doing that kind of thing. So this was the Dropcloth Sampler kit, kind of, I guess, kit that I got. I showed it before. And this one is to make pincushions. So yeah, you basically kind of get this printed fabric and you do some embroidery on it. You can practice different embroidery stitches, which is something that I wanted to work on. And yeah, so I actually, you can see my needles shoved in here. I actually have a needle minder coming today, hopefully, and also a thread organizer that's shaped like a monstera leaf coming. So I'm limiting my amount of purchases for crafty things because I went a little crazy when COVID started. But it's okay for sewing stuff because I don't have as many sewing and like embroidery notions. So yeah, I've been enjoying working on this just a little bit, you know, every once in a while. I'm not like setting any deadlines with this kind of stuff. It's just kind of a little fun side project. So yeah, that has been cool. Yeah, that was all my works in progress. I think I got all of them. Yeah, that was all of them. So next, this, I'm not gonna really do as many acquisition things because I did buy a lot of yarn and stuff. So I'd rather just talk about those when I get to the projects that I'm working on with them, which might take a while, but that's okay. But I did want to talk about this one. So, Jennifer from Handstitched Life reached out to me after I had, you know, expressed that I was having a little bit of a hard time and asked if she could send me some of her stitch markers. Here is her card with her stuff. This really doesn't want to focus. It doesn't want to focus. Kind of ish. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was super sweet. So I wanted to show you what she sent me. I really love them. I was already using the cherry and the honeycomb one on my other projects. So first, there's this really cute set of like little green guys. There's a bunch of those in different colors and stuff. So they're really pretty. And then there's like, she makes these really cute like themed sets. Oh, she also sent me a really nice card with it. So where are they? There they are. So the first one here has some fruits. And the cherry one was part of that set. And I really like that she also has matching little ring stitch markers with like a bead, coordinating bead. So these will be really nice for like doing like color work or lace charts and stuff to keep track of where you're at. And, you know, a little matching set. Also, because I love bees so much, there's this set. I already used the flower, but I put it back on so I could show you. So the honeycomb went with this one. So it's a bee and a flower and a honeycomb. Really cute. Perfect, because I love bees. And then, also, a little pride cake. Adorable. So yeah, I absolutely love these. I thought it was so sweet that she reached out and sent these to me. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you, Jennifer. I'm also gonna pull my blanket over here and do some knitting while we're talking. Maybe if I can find my other knitting needle. So now we're on to some chatter and some rambling. So this weekend, we don't really have a lot of plans because there's rain and like, I don't know, we're in this weird spot right now. So I live in Pennsylvania. We basically shut down our entire state and it has been reopening in phases. And I don't necessarily think that it's necessarily the best. I definitely think there was pressure to reopen too early. It's not like the virus has gone away. And we've seen what's been happening in other states, but hey, what do I know? So we personally have been staying home most of the time. We've done a couple like activities where we could be socially distant, you know, actually physically distant from people around us, and we wore our masks and everything, but for the most part, still just staying home, and especially because it's raining, you know, a lot of the stuff that we're comfortable, like at least trying to do, are outdoor activities, so, you know, fresh air and not being close to people. So that kind of put a kibosh on doing anything this weekend, so I'm probably going to go pick up some food at the market, and I believe we're doing another blanket fort this weekend, which is fun. It is fun. It's still not the same as, like, going out and doing something properly, but it is a fun activity to be doing so that it's not just a whole weekend of sitting on the couch and watching movies. As for gardening, because it's raining, I haven't really been out there, or like it's supposed to rain. I haven't really been out there for a few days. Things are really starting to get big, and I do think that within the next few weeks we should be having stuff like squash and cucumbers and more actual produce. So far I have harvested some greens, and I harvested spinach, Swiss chard, kale, lettuce, various lettuces. And I did some replanting of that type of stuff on Wednesday, I think it was, just because since it's going to rain, thought it would be nice to have consistent watering on those things. I should be able to pick some radishes when I go next, which is good. It's nice to be finally getting something out of it. But I've been having a good time working on it. My dad and stepmom have stopped by a few times to help me weed, which has been a huge help. And they also brought me a huge bale of straw, so I was able to cover up a lot of the area so that the weeds won't come back as much. So yeah, if you want to check out all of the stuff about the garden, check out the Fruits and Roots playlist on my channel, and you can see my gardening videos. I only have a few up so far because I haven't been super consistent about uploading them, but it is a lot of work to edit all of those clips together. Yeah, so for our vacation plans, it's another thing I'm super wary of. We had already had these plans. We're going to be with our family. I think we're going to kind of play it cautiously, so even if it ends up just being like we mostly hang out with our family in the house, it's still a vacation. I don't think we're gonna stay all week from like what I understand from talking to my wife, because even if it ends up being mostly like a normal vacation, they're very like hang out on the beach all day in the sun and then come home at night kind of like, just like beach, back to the house, beach, house, that. And that's just, I don't know. I've never been a super big, like, sit on the beach kind of person. Like, when I was a kid, when we went to the beach, it was, we were going to Wildwood, and you go walk around the boardwalk. And I really like going to, like, boardwalks and stuff, which I don't really know that that's gonna be super big option right now. So, yeah, regardless, we were kind of thinking of, like, staying half the week. We need to call her grandmother and, like, get it figured out. But staying half the week and then maybe finding somewhere else that we can stay for the other half of the week that we already took off. You know, because our original plan was stay in Wildwood for a few days and stay with them for a few days, but I don't really know what's gonna happen, so we shall see. But I am looking forward to a vacation in whatever form it is, even if it ends up just being like hanging out and not working for a while. Yeah. So that will be interesting. It's a weird year. It's a really weird year. So for video games, I kind of had hinted that I've been doing stuff other than crafting because my crafting mojo has been weird. I had gotten really into Animal Crossing, but honestly, I don't know. I got a little burned out on it because I was doing it every day and it started feeling like a chore, and then I was like not having as much fun with it. Also because, no, I don't really know. I don't know. It wasn't as fun for me. I didn't buy turnips this week, and I've been taking kind of a break. And that kind of coincided with me wanting to play more video games, so I just played some different ones that I had. I re-picked up Detroit Become Human, which is a Quantic Dream game. They've also made Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. I really enjoy their games because they're a little bit different. They're very narrative, they're very artsy, and yeah, I know there's like not everybody agrees because they don't like the game mechanics and stuff, but that's fine. It's something that I enjoy. So the premise is it's pretty much about like robot racism, like very blatantly about robot racism. So you play as like 3 different androids and android liberation and that kind of stuff. So it was kind of interesting. Wasn't really thinking about it, just picked it up this week and was like, no, this is robot racism. Yeah, I've been enjoying playing that. I really want to finish it. So that might be what I do tonight because my wife is going out with her friends. So, and by going out with her friends, I mean they're gonna go eat Taco Bell together and catch up. Yeah. So what other games? Oh, there's a new game that came out called Among Trees. and it's actually about it's like a survival game. I was gonna say survival horror, but it's not a horror game. It's actually a very relaxing, like, you get to explore this really beautiful wooded area, collect materials, build up your little cabin that you live in. And yeah, I've been really super enjoying playing that. It's been very calming. I'm playing on Zen mode. It's in early access, so it's not complete, but it doesn't bother me. There's enough substance for me to get something out of it. The only thing is, so I don't have a super powerful PC. Like, I'm not like a PC gamer by any means. I'm definitely a console gamer, but it's only available on PC, and I really wanted to play it bad. And I have this habit of, like, I have a decent laptop, don't get me wrong. I just don't have a gaming laptop. It doesn't have the specs to handle games. It has the specs to be able to handle video editing and handle photo editing, and, you know, it's decent, but it's just not a gaming laptop. So, but I like to push it sometimes. So even if my specs don't match what the game's minimum specs are, I just try anyway. And that has backfired big time a few times. But in this case, I was like, okay, the game is like $16 and I have a coupon in the Epic Game Store. Might as well just try it, whatever. So I think I paid like $6 for it or something. And yeah, I don't know. It's not great. It doesn't work super great on my computer. It doesn't work super great on my computer, but it works, so I'll take it. I've been enjoying it. So yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, I would recommend Among Trees. So the last thing I wanted to talk about, so I've been using Habitica to remind myself to take my medication, which, by the way, I did not take mine this morning. I should do it. So I take pills 3 times a day, and I want to make sure that I remember to do it, because it's still kind of new to me. It's been like a month, maybe. 2 months? No, like a little over a month. Month and a half. So yeah, it's a way to gamify your checklist, basically. So I'm coming up on finishing a quest with the group that I'm in, but nobody else really stuck with it, which is fine. Like, it's not for everybody. It definitely is like an extra step. It's definitely an extra step that, maybe that's an impediment to some people because it's like extra work that you need to do. But for me, it is a good reminder to finish things, because you can put things that are like daily tasks that you want to do. It's good to get into habits if you want to get into better habits for whatever reason that might be. You know, I have a task to remember to water my plants because sometimes I forget. Or, like I said, take my pills, or I've been trying to work on my Northeasterly every day, so I have a task for that as well. So yeah, that's kind of where that's been. So basically, I think I'm going to start my own party, so if anyone is interested in trying Habitic out and you want to be in my party so that we can do quests together, just reach out to me and we'll get that set up. I think that'd be cool. Yeah, that's all I really wanted to say about that. Okay, so that's all I have for today. I am going to go have a nice relaxing weekend. I hope that you have a good weekend, and yeah, hang in there, be safe. All right. We just finished. Rebecca. I'm done. Hello.